Team 7 completed the second stage of the tuning exams on the second day, making them one of the fastest to finish. As Naruto expected, Gaara and his siblings finished first. As the other teams completed the stage, they were split into separate rooms within the tower, giving them time to rest, which Team 7 needed plenty of. Once Sasuke woke up, he was informed about his actions while under the influence of the curse mark. He said it was a hazy memory to him, but Naruto could see the lust of power hidden behind his eyes. Fortunately, Haku made it clear that both of them couldn't use the curse mark until after they found out how to control it. Naruto said he talked to Hiruzen after the exam. After the 5 days were over, the passing teams were brought to the top floor. After the 5 days were over, the passing teams were brought to the top floor of the tower. The third Hokage was waiting, alongside the team's Jonin instructors. Naruto glanced at Gaara, the One-Tailed Jinchuriki staring straight forward. He could sense that Gaara kept his word and didn't hurt any Leaf Genin. "Welcome, Genin," Hiruzen announced. "Congratulations for passing the second stage of the tuning exam. Unfortunately, there are too many of you to send straight to the final exam, so we need to run a set of preliminary matches. I know some of you are tired and weakened, but we've got no other choice. Would any of you wish to explain why?" Sakura raised her hand. "The final stage of the tuning exam is always a series of one-on-one duels. If Genin from another village reach the finals, their Kage comes to watch them. This is done to replace warfare, simply put. It's to show off the strength of a village's shinobi." "Very well explained, Sakura," Hiruzen praised. "And due to that, only the best of the best can reach the final stage. These preliminary matches will also be one-on-one fights. Winner is decided by forfeit or knockout. If any of you wish to bow out due to injuries or lack of energy, you do so now." As Team 7 expected, both Zaku and Dosu removed themselves, their arms in casts. Kabuto, despite appearing to have numerous injuries, remained with his two teammates. There was an even number of Genin left. Hiruzen nodded, telling all Genin and Jonin to remain on the balcony, overlooking the arena, which had a large statue at the back. A man with tired eyes stepped forth, a loud cough escaping his lips every few seconds. "My name is Hayate Gecko. I'm your proctor. As such, I can step in at any point and declare the winner of a match. The first match will be Sasuke Uchiha versus Yoroi Akado." One of Kabuto's teammates jumped down first, following Sasuke. The Uchiha had been warned to end this fight quickly by his team, so he didn't tap into the curse mark by accident. But just by looking at Yoroi, Sasuke doubted it would take much time anyway. Yoroi was about to taunt Sasuke, but the Uchiha wasn't in the mood for it. He immediately dashed forward, throwing explosive kunai. Yoroi dodged to the side, throwing a punch. Sasuke caught it, instantly feeling his chakra and energy being drained. He jumped back, confused. "As you now know, I can drain your chakra with a single touch," Yoroi stated, drawing a kunai. Sasuke frowned, drawing a kunai of his own, channeling chakra into it. A sharp pain shot through his neck, the curse mark turning orange as flame markings started to spread. "I get it. The curse mark activates when I use chakra," Sasuke smirked, stopping his chakra flow, the curse mark receding. But Kakashi saw it, a grim expression coming over him. "What happened in the forest?" Kakashi asked his students grimly. "Orochimaru and his curse marks," Naruto replied without hesitation. "Haku was given one too, both against their wills. He tried to shut off the Nine Tails and my chakra with some technique, but apparently my seal wasn't weakened enough for it to have effect. And lastly, both Sakura and Haku know both of my secrets. Sasuke doesn't yet, though." Kakashi nodded, his one eye closing in thought. "Once this match is done, I need him to come with me so I can seal it. Haku's will have to be sealed after her match, so I forbid you from accessing that curse mark's power." "Yes, Kakashi-sensei. Depending on my opponent, it shouldn't be too difficult. Kakashi nodded in acceptance. Haku was already at tuning level, so he knew she'd make it to the finals. He looked back to Sasuke just in time to see him land a fist squarely in Yoroi's jaw. One roundhouse kick later and he was on the floor, unconscious. It took longer than the Uchiha expected, due to Yoroi's unique ability, but he was victorious nonetheless. He looked up at his team, seeing Kakashi's stern look as he walked back to join them. "Come with me," the Jonin ordered. "I've got to make the curse mark controllable and safe." Sasuke nodded in acceptance. Even if he liked the increase in power, he realized he couldn't control it. If he wanted to use it to his advantage, he needed to learn how to use it. But why did that Orochimaru mention him? Sasuke asked himself with rage. And what did he mean when he said we would meet again? Hayate coughed once more, declaring the second match. Shino versus Choji. None of the Hidden Leaf Jonin knew how this was going to go, despite knowing both Genin's abilities. Their skills were very different, so the outcome was just a matter of who could use them more effectively. "May we have a good match," Shino said, fixing his glasses. "Agreed," Choji said, devouring the last of his potato chips as Hayate began the match. "Partial expansion jutsu!" Choji's arm grew dramatically, swinging at Shino. The Aburame dodged with minimal difficulty. As a long-range fighter, he learned quickly how to evade. A small swarm of insects escaped his sleeves, flying towards Choji in order to blind him. The Akimichi batted them away, expanding his second arm and charging at Shino. More insects gushed from his sleeves, blocking Shino from everyone's sight. Expansion Jutsu! The bugs were blown away, Choji gaining more and more momentum before he dashed around the arena, but Shino was nowhere to be found. Once the bugs had dissipated, Choji stopped, glancing around the arena. Insect Sphere! Choji's eyes darted up, seeing Shino standing on the ceiling, insects barreling down on Choji. He was covered before he could defend himself. Shino watched from above as Choji slowly blew away the sphere with the expansion of each of his limbs. He looked up at Shino, feeling his legs buckle and vision grow foggy. Shino landed beside him, bringing a kunai to his throat. While inside my insect sphere, many of my insects burrowed into your body, sapping your chakra. You've also been injected with a paralyzing agent that won't wear off on its own. I'm the only one with the antidote. If you wish to receive it, then concede the match. Choji grunted, already feeling the effects of the paralysis. Alright, I give up. I lose. Shino nodded, withdrawing his kunai and giving Choji the antidote as Hayate called for the next match. Gaara's brother, Kankuro, versus Kabuto's second teammate. Kankuro was caught, but then revealed himself as a puppet, easily taking care of his opponent. Naruto instantly became intrigued by the puppet, wondering if Kabuto would be willing to show him the basics, but he then realized that wasn't going to happen until after Gaara accepted him. Next match, Sakura Haruno versus Ino Yamanaka. The two girls turned to each other, eyes wide. The two were once friends, until both became obsessed with Sasuke during the academy, meaning they hadn't talked much since then. Last she heard, Ino's fondness of him had dwindled noticeably. Regardless of whether that was true, this was the best time to test her abilities. She needed to know if she was worthy to remain at Sasuke's side. The two jumped down to the arena, staring each other down as Hayate began the match. I won't hold back, Sakura, Ino stated, slowly bringing her hands together, ready to use her clan's signature jutsu. Sakura's eyes hardened, forcing herself to draw a kunai. She couldn't hold back either. I'll prove my worth, Sakura declared, remembering her pitiful actions against Orochimaru and the Sound Ninja. Ino made the first move, attempting to use her mind transfer jutsu. Sakura dashed, making her stop. If she missed her clan's technique, she'd be done for. She drew a kunai as Sakura created two clones. She did her best to defend herself, receiving a few cuts before she could destroy the clones. Sakura moved back, performing an unfamiliar set of hand signs. Sakura then placed her hands on the ground, the ceiling above them gaining a large spiderweb of cracks. As chunks of rock fell towards Ino, she frantically tried to find a way to avoid it. As she turned left and right, she saw Sakura running straight towards her, kunai ready to attack. Dozens of thoughts shot through her head before she came to the realization. She heard Sakura started training with Kurenai, who was a genjutsu master. The fact Sakura was running into danger with a kunai ready to attack could only mean there was no danger in the falling stone. Ino smirked, turning to use her mind transfer jutsu. It was a success, Sakura freezing as Ino's body went limp, falling to the ground. The falling rocks faded, revealing it truly was a genjutsu. Ino awoke inside Sakura's mind, opening her eyes, intending to force Sakura to forfeit the match. But as she began to raise her hand, her vision blurred for a moment before the arena around them faded into a bizarre landscape of strange flowers and trees. How can she cast a genjutsu when I'm in control of her body? Ino asked herself. Ninja art, illusion of the mind. Ino heard Sakura's consciousness call out the technique, forcefully casting it onto herself. Ino felt her own mind fading in and out, taking all her willpower to keep herself in her old friend's body. I won't let you win, Ino, Sakura shouted in her own mind. I've got to prove I can stand beside Sasuke and Team 7. Ino groaned, feeling herself jump back into her own body as a combination of Sakura's ridiculous willpower and mentally taxing genjutsu overpowered her. She woke back in her body, seeing Sakura fall to the ground, but still conscious. Both girls needed several minutes to stand, Sakura in worse shape than Ino. I'm surprised you've lasted this long, Ino smirked. Compared to Sasuke and even Naruto and that Haku girl, you're nothing. Sakura chuckled. And here I thought no one could escape the mind transfer jutsu, but here I am. And I'll have you know I've been getting better. Ino rolled her eyes, but she was in a bad position. In terms of chakra, she didn't have much more than Sakura, but her techniques required more than Sakura's illusions. Neither had much chakra left, so all they had was their fists. What followed was an admittedly intense fistfight between two female shinobi. Neither were serious taijutsu users, so it came down to who could take the most hits, rather than who was more skilled. But from the looks of it, everyone could tell Sakura was faring better than Ino. Kakashi's brutal training had forced her body to strengthen, whereas Asuma's wasn't nearly as aggressive with Team 10. At last, both girls were down to the last of their energy. Ino threw one last punch, which Sakura blocked with her own. Both were panting, but neither was going to give up. Ino summed up the last of her energy, delivering an uppercut to Sakura's chin, sending her flying. But while in midair, Sakura was able to perform one last set of hand signs, staring directly into Ino's eyes as she landed cleanly on her feet. Ninja art, demonic hellfire! Ino's mind was flooded with fire, her nose with pure sulfur. The cries of tortured souls filled her ears, her own skin feeling the flames crawl along it. The sensory overload was too much, making her fall to the arena floor, unconscious. Sakura stared at her with tired eyes, knees buckling beneath her. Ino Yamanaka is unable to continue, Hayate stated. The winner of this match is Sakura Haruno. Sakura couldn't help but let a faint smile spread across her face. Her first solo victory since those thugs in the Land of Waves. Even so, she had zero energy left. She could barely stay awake. She would have fallen over if Naruto hadn't caught her. You did great, Sakura, Naruto smiled. Sakura huffed with a smile. Just make sure you and Haku pass, okay? Naruto nodded, helping his teammates onto a stretcher as a group of medics came to take both her and Ino away. After some rest, they'd both be back to normal. Naruto walked back to the balcony, passing Team 9, or Team Guy, on the way. That was an impressive display of youth, the green-clad shinobi, also known as Rock Lee, declared. Agreed, those girls poured their hearts and souls into that fight, another green-clad shinobi added. This was the first time they'd met, but Naruto assumed he was Team 9's sensei. The blonde now understood where Lee got his appearance from. Might Guy turned to face the Uzumaki, giving him a thumbs up. You should consider yourself lucky to have such youthful teammates. Naruto nodded hesitantly. I just hope me and Haku are able to pass as well. I hope you pass as well, Lee agreed. I can tell your team is strong. It would be an honor to duel you someday. Naruto grinned. If we get matched against each other, I'll gladly take you on. Quiet down, you three, Neji demanded. Tenten's match with Temari of the Sand is beginning. He then looked directly at Naruto. Watch, boy, and perhaps you'll learn something. Naruto frowned. Are you always this condescending? Excuse me? Neji responded, glaring at him. The blonde rolled his eyes. Don't bother trying to play dumb. I don't know you personally, but I believe in Hinata's description of you. Neji turned to watch Tenten's match. Only a fool would believe in the words of another fool. Naruto's fists tightened. You'd better watch your mouth when you're talking about my friends. Neji merely scoffed, Naruto growling before he walked past him, Lee, and Guy. Apologies for my friend's behavior. He tends to have a cold side, Lee stated as the blonde joined Haku. I'm not the one he has a problem with, clearly. I don't know all the details, but he isn't fond of Hinata, Naruto replied. Apparently that's a common issue in this village, Haku added, not bothering to keep the thoughts to herself. Naruto couldn't blame her. For a long time, Zabuza was the only person she could trust. He hated to admit it, but it was much easier to be a rogue shinobi in terms of knowing who to trust. He also hated to admit that his fellow Leaf shinobi didn't all see eye to eye. Temari ended up defeating Tenten with minimal difficulty. Tenten used weapons and scrolls, while Temari used her wind ninjutsu via her large folding fan, giving her an advantage over Tenten's unique fighting style. Though if Naruto was being honest, he didn't see much point in merely throwing hundreds of weapons at a target and hoping they didn't defend or dodge. Next was Kin versus Shikamaru. After several minutes, the Nara used his shadow possession technique to attach himself to Kin, backflip, and knock her out using the wall behind her. At last, it was Naruto's turn. He was pitted against Kiba and his partner, Akamaru. Don't think I'll let you win, Kiba smirked, Akamaru barking in agreement as they jumped down. Naruto grinned. He knew Kiba was strong. He was originally the second strongest in the academy before he surpassed him. But he was certain Kiba had grown. He was looking forward to their fight. The only ones who he saw as greater opponents were Sasuke and Haku. As he jumped down to the arena, he looked at Gaara. The redhead stared at him unflinchingly. He wanted to see Naruto's strength for himself. The blonde knew that. He needed to show Gaara he was capable of helping him. Otherwise, he wouldn't accept it. And begin, Hayate declared. Kiba grinned, shifting into his fighting stance. Naruto wanted to see if the Inuzuka would make the first move. If he did, then it was safe to assume Kiba's combat style was the same as every other Inuzuka. Strike fast, hit hard, don't give your opponent time to think. Sure enough, Kiba struck fast and hard, throwing the blonde against the arena wall. Everyone was surprised, Neji and Kurenai in particular taking pleasure in the fact that Naruto was knocked down so easily. But everyone else knew Naruto wasn't done, proven by the blonde suddenly flying towards Kiba thanks to Soul Speed. Naruto planted his foot into Kiba's face, using Soul Speed once more to send the Inuzuka barreling into both Akamaru and the opposite wall. I was right, you have grown stronger, Naruto grinned. Kiba pulled himself from the wall, giving a wolfish grin of his own. "You're not too bad yourself." He turned to his dog partner. "Let's show him our best, Akamaru." Akamaru barked in agreement, consuming a small pill that Kiba tossed to him. His fur spiked up, turning a dark shade of red. Both dashed, Naruto going on the offensive. All three flew around the arena, Naruto blocking Kiba's punches and evading Akamaru's fangs. 2 against 1 was not good odds, especially since they had near-perfect synchrony. "Think you can keep avoiding me?" Kiba taunted, readying another technique. "Who said I was avoiding you?" Naruto smirked, snapping his fingers. Kiba felt his back turn hot, the paper tags covering him exploding. He was thrown down, screaming in pain. Luckily for him, Naruto made sure to use less powerful explosive tags since he didn't want to kill Kiba. Akamaru ran up to his partner, nudging him awake. Kiba groaned, standing back up, bringing his hands together. "Let's do this, Akamaru." Inuzuka style. Man, beast, clone. Kiba and Akamaru's chakra spiked, the dog transforming into a perfect replica of his human partner. The 2 Kibas growled at Naruto, who did not like where this was going. Man, beast, taijutsu. Fang over fang. The duo turned into high-speed drills that barreled towards Naruto. The blonde had 0 time to think, unable to dodge the first set of attacks. He flipped onto his side, using Gale Palm to slide across the floor, forcing the Kibas to chase after him. Naruto grimaced. He needed to force Kiba out of his technique and deal with Akamaru. Once he was out, half of Kiba's strength would be gone. The only problem was he couldn't tell which was the real Kiba. "Let's see if I can get away with some discreet Earth style," Naruto thought. He launched himself up to the ceiling, creating a smokescreen that blocked everyone's view of him. His palm slammed against the stone ceiling, causing huge chunks of it to fall towards Kiba and Akamaru. It didn't stop their advance, but slowed them down enough to give Naruto time to set up his next plan. "Wind style, air current dance." Naruto appeared between Akamaru and Kiba, blasting them in opposite directions with a burst of wind. He then shot towards the closer of the 2, using a strong burst of wind to send them flying back to the arena floor. The second Kiba flew towards him, throwing him against the wall, stopping his technique. Now that they weren't spinning, Naruto was able to catch Kiba's scent. Kakashi had been helping him learn how to better use his nose, though it was nowhere near as good as his sensei's, or Kiba. Regardless, he could tell which of the 2 was Akamaru. "Sorry, Kiba, but if Sakura passed, there's no way I'm not. Wind style, soul speed." He shot towards Akamaru, throwing a smoke bomb. Using its cover, he brought his fist down, a small pillar of stone sending Akamaru flying out of the cloud, unconscious. Kiba snarled, charging straight for the blonde, intending to defeat him with a swift slash to the chest. But the blonde was a step ahead. "Wind style, great breakthrough." Kiba was pushed back, Naruto dashing forward with the kunai. The 2 clashed for a few seconds, until Kiba threw an explosive kunai. But, before it could explode, Naruto abandoned his weapon, creating a sphere of wind between his hands. The explosive kunai was caught in the field, Naruto spinning and empowering it with the wind sphere. Kiba was blown away for what felt like the 10th time this match. But this time, he didn't think he could continue. He felt his brain vibrate against his skull, scorch marks covering his clothes. Naruto held a kunai to his throat. "Looks like I win," Naruto smirked. "Sorry about this, Kiba." Kiba chuckled. "I admit defeat," he declared with a sigh. "Just make sure you beat Sasuke in the finals. I like to see that guy eating dirt." Naruto grinned, withdrawing his kunai and reaching out his hand. "I'll make sure of it." If you like what you just heard, consider hitting the subscribe button and bell icon to get notified about new videos. If there's a part you've missed, then check out the entire playlist on screen. If you like this story, please share it with your fellow anime lovers. Any support helps a lot. That's all for now. This is Ninja Kai. disappearing in a golden flash.